They've just rewritten the rulebook. A single Supreme Court ruling has redrawn the landscape of U.S. immigration for families, for enforcement, and for justice itself. If you or someone close to you is caught in this system, you need to pay attention. This is Immiscope, your trusted source for U.S. immigration news, policy shifts, and visa developments. The Supreme Court has just issued a decision that could redefine how America enforces immigration law and whether families stay together or are torn apart. On decision day, the court delivered a 6-3 ruling in a case asking one defining question: who truly controls immigration enforcement? For years, that question has divided the debate. Does the executive branch have the power to decide who gets deported? Or must every removal strictly follow constitutional limits? This verdict lands right in that conflict, and it could change everything. What the case was really about. At its core, the case tested the government's authority to set enforcement priorities. In reality, that means deciding whether to focus on serious offenders or sweep in individuals with no criminal record at all. The federal government argued, "We have limited resources. We need to be strategic." Opponents countered, "Enforce the law, yes, but not at the expense of constitutional rights." In a 6-3 decision, the court agreed that the executive branch does have discretion, but it must operate within clear limits. You can't bypass due process, equal protection, or basic fairness. What the ruling actually says. The decision establishes a new equilibrium: targeted enforcement with constitutional boundaries. Key principles emerge. Deportations must respect constitutional rights. No one can be removed from U.S. soil without a fair process. Agencies like DHS, ICE, and USCIS can set enforcement priorities, but never by ignoring due process. Fast-track deportations that skip hearings are now open to legal challenge. Discretion remains, but only within procedural guardrails. The government can deprioritize certain cases, but it cannot disregard fundamental rights. Who gains and who loses? Who benefits? Long-time residents with clean records. Those who've lived quietly, raised families, and contributed may now have stronger defenses in court. Families previously separated by harsh enforcement might see relief. Fewer low-risk deportations could mean fewer children left without parents. Immigration lawyers and advocates also gain a new legal tool to challenge arbitrary removals and unfair procedures. The potential downsides. Critics warn this could slow down enforcement. Fewer immediate removals might be viewed as leniency. Court backlogs could worsen as agencies adjust to new review requirements. Defining who qualifies as low risk may spark new disputes, creating uneven results from case to case. How enforcement will now shift. This ruling will echo across the entire system. In removal proceedings, undocumented individuals will have a stronger claim to full hearings, legal representation, and appeal rights. Fast-track deportations, those done without hearings, are now vulnerable to legal attack. Agency priorities will evolve. ICE, CBP, and USCIS are expected to redirect efforts towards serious crimes, national security threats, and fraud. Low-priority cases, especially long-term, nonviolent residents, may be deferred. Internal policy memos and training programs will need updating. As for deferred action programs like DACA, while the case didn't directly address them, it reinforces that executive discretion is legitimate, as long as it stays within constitutional lines. That could open the door for renewed protections, expansions, or restorations, though each would face fresh legal scrutiny. Real-world examples. Scenario 1: Maria. Maria has lived in the U.S. for 14 years, raising 2 U.S.-born children. She has no criminal record but faced deportation under older enforcement rules. After this ruling, she can argue that her case shouldn't be a removal priority, forcing the government to grant her due process. Scenario 2: Juan. Juan was arrested for a serious felony, He clearly falls into the high priority category. This decision doesn't protect him from deportation, but it guarantees he receives a fair hearing first. These stories show the ruling doesn't shield everyone equally, but it gives many more people a voice in court. Short-term changes to expect. Deportations that were previously expedited could now slow down. Non-priority cases may be reassessed under the new standard. Some removal orders might even be reopened, depending on individual circumstances. Courts and federal agencies will likely delay implementation while they update internal policies. Important clarification: no one is suddenly granted legal status. This is about process and fairness, not mass legalization. What this ruling does not do: it doesn't grant citizenship or permanent status to undocumented immigrants. It doesn't change visa limits or green card allocations. It doesn't abolish deportations. Instead, it defines how deportations must be carried out. It doesn't overrule Congress. Lawmakers still write immigration laws. So, while powerful, this isn't a silver bullet. It's a structural shift, not a shortcut to legal status. Risks, challenges, and battles ahead. The meaning of enforcement priorities will now be debated in courtrooms nationwide. Judges will need to decide who truly qualifies for protection. Agencies must revise internal guidance, retrain staff, and allocate resources. A slow and costly process. Courts, already under pressure, may face greater strain. Adding new layers of legal review could clog the system further. State governments might resist, pushing for their own stricter enforcement rules. If you're affected, here's how to navigate this. 1. Stay updated. Follow announcements from ICE, DHS, and immigration courts as new policies are released. 2. Keep thorough records. Document your time in the U.S., community ties, and family status. 3. Never skip hearings. Missing one can destroy your case. 4. Seek licensed immigration attorneys only. Don't rely on rumors or unverified online advice. 5. Consider reopening past cases. If your prior Removal Act due process, this ruling may open new legal doors. 6. Be proactive. Take action early. Don't wait for changes to catch up to you. Every situation is unique. What helps one person might not work for another. The bigger picture: what's next? This Supreme Court decision could become a turning point. Congress may face new pressure to craft reform that balances enforcement with fairness. More court battles will refine how this ruling works in practice. Agencies will adapt. Policies once considered rigid may now bend under constitutional review. Public debate will heat up, but now that debate will carry real legal weight. Key takeaways: the Supreme Court ruling confirms executive discretion, but only within constitutional boundaries. Deportations must follow due process, not arbitrary decisions. Long-time residents and low-risk immigrants now have stronger grounds to defend their cases. This decision doesn't legalize anyone or alter visa limits. It reshapes how the system must operate. The real struggle now shifts to the agencies, the courts, and Congress. If you found this update useful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for the latest U.S. immigration updates. Thanks for watching Immiscope. See you in the next video.